Alright guys, for you here I have two bolt action rifles, both chambered in the 7.62 by 39, which actually, at least in the Canadian market, does not seem to be a caliber that's easy to find in bolt action. You can get the SKS and you can get a bunch of semi-autos for cheap plinking, but if you want a bolt action, you're very limited. I can only think of like 3, 4, maybe 5 different guns, and they're all relatively expensive. But I'm lucky enough to have two at the moment. I like them both. They all both have their ups and downs. I'm not even sure which one I'm going to keep yet. But since I have them both, I thought I'd do a little bit of a side-by-side. Just to show the things I like and the things I dislike about them. Alright, so at the bottom here we got the Zastava M85. And at the top there we got the CZ 527. So forgive me for the glare. I got a big light above the pool table here. So we'll start off at the bottom with the Zastava. Beautiful gun. Like wow. I like the looks of this significantly better than the looks of the CZ. I'm not sure, this is the only Zastava I've ever really seen in person or held, so I can't vouch for the other ones. But for this one, it is a damn fine looking gun. It's got a, well, this one at least kind of has like a real polyurethane finish on it. Makes it shiny. I like shiny. Makes it gorgeous. It's got great detail in here. It's a beautiful gun. The bluing is nice and dark blue. It's compared to the CZ, CZ feels blah in comparison. This, I have absolutely no problems with the finish on this gun. That being said, the issues I have with the gun are more functionality-wise. I mean, no misfeeds or nothing serious. Just it's not as ergonomic as one would hope. Let me put the camera down here and see if I can show you what I was referring to. Alrighty. So, forgive me here, I'm using my left hand, I'm right-handed. So, the main issue with the Zastava is the action. It is rough. I mean, I kind of polished this up, got rid of all the sharp edges. This is basically as smooth as one can get it, and it's manageable. I'm not saying it's, so awful, it's a piece of shit. It's manageable. But you gotta be rough with it. It's heavily oiled and it's been polished, and you can just tell it's not as slick as you'd want it, and you really have to push down to get it locked in there. And then when it's all the way back, there's some wiggle, fair bit of play here. So if you kind of hurry and you're loading another, sliding the slide back, and you push it on an angle and try to push it in, it's not going to go. So I kind of like guns that don't have so much play at the back, but it is what it is. You get used to it. If someone's, say someone's a little bit on the weaker side, or they like being gentle with the guns, you're going to have a bit of a problem cycling rounds through this thing, because even this is a bit rough. When you put, when you got rounds in the feed here, and this is, loading and ejecting them, man, it gets even rougher. Like when it's actually doing its job with ammunition, it gets rough. So you just got to be equally as rough with it. You got to flip this open, slide back, forward, and push down, all in one quick motion, and be aggressive with it. If you don't mind doing that, this thing's a beaut. What else? Oh, let me see if I can angle this to show you. Someone in their wisdom decided to make this handle here really short. So when you slide it back, I mean, it's pretty near touching the damn scope. I mean, some jerk could have made this thing, come out a little further, maybe a bigger knob, come out a little lower and further. It just wasn't very considerate. It's serrated on the bottom, which is kind of good. It gives you a bit of grip, but it's also very rough. I don't know. Could have been thought a little better. You can't really get a grip on it, because then you hit the scope. And that, it hurts a little bit, and it also obstructs you from sliding it back. So you kind of have to grab it on the side. Whatever, I mean, if you're using a scope, something to think about. If you like the iron sights, then don't even worry about it. From the research I've done, I've seen that the scope rings can be a little bit hard and tricky for this gun. Luckily I bought this and the person already done the work for me, so I can't vouch too much for that. And he's got me some nice rings with you can see through, so you can still shoot the irons if you wanted to. The irons here, they do pop down to allow clear viewing through the scope. Another difference between this and the CZ is with a magazine. This does not. It's flush at the bottom, which is awesome. I like that. If I got this on a bipod and I want to hold it down here, I want to hold it down here. I don't want the bloody mag in the way. I have no problem shooting my targets, and then when I'm walking, down the range to go, check them out at the cottage there, I have no problem popping this open and start feeding as I'm going. To have to eject the mag and load that separately, it's just a bit of a pain. It's my preference. A lot of people like the mags. But, yeah, so I'll just pop this open. There we go. So all the rounds would fall out. Push this, and it goes right back in. You push the button again, and it locks in place. So you basically, to load it, you just top feed it. I think it takes, if I remember right, it takes about 3. Which is fine. I've had this gun for a little while now, and it doesn't bother me in the slightest. So that's the Zastava. That's everything I can think about for that one. Let's switch her up with the CZ. I got this gun more recently. First thing I noticed, doesn't quite stand up to the Zastava look-wise, but I mean that's everyone's own preference. I mean, yes, this one I think has a polyurethane finish on it. Someone probably maybe did that after the fact. I don't know. This one just looks a little dull. It doesn't quite hold up as much. And considering the CZ is considerably more expensive, it's kind of hard to pay more for something when it doesn't look as nice. But whatever, that's cosmetic. I can add a clear coat of shiny on the end myself if I want to. Who knows? So yeah, this gun. First thing I noticed, yes, the finish isn't quite as nice, but it's still a nice looking gun. The front sights here, they don't fold that down like the Zastavas do. You just have to, you can tap them out of the way. It doesn't really interfere. It interferes with my scope cover, but it's easy enough remedy. You can just bang it out. But that was a pretty neat idea of Zastava to figure that out. Convenient. What else? So, yep, it's got the magazine. Pull on that, magazine comes out, magazine holds 5. If you prefer that, then that's awesome. The action, a lot smoother. It's still a little bit hard to push down there, but no play at the end. Well, a little bit, but nothing like the Zastavas. And it's just much nicer. Much more pleasant to actually to slide that bolt back. Let's take a peek from this angle. Same thing with the Zastava. I mean, there's more room at least, so I can still, grip the thing a little bit. Would have been nice. I had a Savage where I had a scope on. It didn't even occur to me that this could obstruct. I was so used to that. Whatever. Got a big mitt, or you really grab low on this thing, it might obstruct you, but at least it's not as bad as the Zastavas. It's more manageable, so it's got that going for it. Scope rings actually came with the gun, which was nice. Didn't have to dick around with that. The safeties on both of them, easy to operate, right there for you. Doesn't really make much of a difference, in my opinion. What else to talk about? While I think of that, let's give you a little bit of a better look at them. Price-wise, I'm not sure where you are, but in Canada here, the Zastavas seem to go for about $500 to $600, and the CZs seem to go from about 850 to 900, around that. So you're looking about, $300, $350 more for the CZ than the Zastava. And the dilemma I'm finding is it worth it? I don't know. The CZ's a little bit more pleasant to shoot when I take guests out shooting. They enjoy themselves a little bit more with the CZ because it's easier for them. Myself, I'm comfortable with the Zastava, and accuracy-wise, they both shoot better than I do. Wherever I aim, it goes. I mean, I don't shoot from really far, usually about 100 yards. I've no complaints accuracy-wise. They're both good. So to me, I guess it's just more of a preference thing. Over the next while, I'm going to have to determine which I prefer and keep one and sell the other. I mean, the CZ does have something kind of neat. I mean, both their triggers are relatively, light. You don't have to push very hard. They don't have, heavy trigger pulls. But the Zastava here, it has a neat little feature where you can actually push forward on the trigger, and it kind of locks in there, and then that's like an extremely light trigger. So you just have to lightly touch this thing and it goes off. So I when you're shooting at 100 yards or even further than that, I don't know. I found the trigger pretty good to begin with, but it does, pushing it forward and using the extra light hair trigger there, it's pretty nice. Neat feature. I don't really use it as much as someone else might, but the other options, I guess, Ruger made some sort of bolt action in this caliber, and so did Savage. Savage has, I forget what the make is, the model, but it's kind of like a Scout version. So you couldn't mount a scope here. The place to mount a scope was there, and I don't know. I like my scopes right up next to my eye. I don't like them up there. But and it also was about $800-900. Kind of annoying, you can get a decent Savage or something for $400 or $500, or even an Axis line for $300 or whatever, in pretty much every caliber. But if you like me and you like the cheap shooting, and you want the 7.62 by 39, oh well, duh, you got to go up to the $500-600 gun, or even maybe a $900 gun. Is that worth it? Well, I like to shoot cheap. I mean, 7.62 by 39, it's nice. It's not like a 308. Kicks a little bit more for some of my lighter shooters or new shooters who come out. They maybe find that a little bit much. And you get a lesser caliber. You get a 223. It doesn't really quite have the punch. This is nice. It gives you kind of a kick. You feel good about it, and yet it's not enough to really affect your body or to scare you. So it's a nice little intermediate caliber. I like it, and I'm quite pleased with both of these guns. Which one I'll keep, who knows? I guess I'll do some more testing. Anyways, if you guys have any questions, shoot me a message. Alright, cheers.